Close your eyes and let time slip away. Imagine the sound of soft waves brushing against stone docks, the faint call of merchants echoing between marble streets, and the golden sun sinking into the Aegean Sea. This is Halicarnassus, an ancient city by the sea, once the pride of Caria, long before its name became immortal through a single tomb. As always, I choose not to include ads in my videos so you can relax and drift off peacefully without distractions after a long, busy day. It's more important to me that you rest well than to earn from ads. Before we begin, I'd love to know where are you listening from and what time you are now, down below in the comments. I love seeing where everyone's tuning in from. Whether you're settling in for the night or just curious about where these legends came from, I'm glad you're here. Also, share which stories you'd love to hear next, and don't forget to subscribe and share it to someone who loves it too. Centuries before the Mausoleum rose, Halicarnassus was already a place of wonder. Nestled along the coast of what is now Bodrum, Turkey, it looked out over a glittering harbor that connected Asia Minor to the Greek islands beyond. Archaeologists have uncovered fragments of its old fortifications, massive limestone walls, gates and towers that once defended this harbor city. Beneath layers of later construction, traces of its original Carian foundations still whisper of a people older than Greece, yet not entirely apart from it. The Carians were an enigmatic people, seafarers and traders who lived in southwestern Anatolia. Their language, now mostly lost, was neither purely Greek nor Persian. Yet, as empires expanded and cultures mixed, Caria became a mosaic of influences. By the 5th century BCE, this land fell under the vast dominion of the Achaemenid Persian Empire, ruled by the great kings of Persepolis. And within this system, local rulers known as satraps governed the provinces, men who held the delicate balance between Persian loyalty and local independence. One of these satraps was Halicarnassus of Mylasa, who ruled Caria with wisdom and ambition. His vision began the transformation of the region, setting the stage for his son, a man whose name would echo through time, Mausolus. But before Mausolus, Halicarnassus was still modest, a coastal town, alive with fishermen, sailors, and artisans. Excavations near Bodrum's ancient theater and Acropolis reveal urban planning that already hinted at future grandeur. Streets were arranged in a grid pattern, with public spaces, sanctuaries, and cisterns carved into the hills. Even the stones suggest that Halicarnassus was preparing for something greater, as though the city itself sensed destiny approaching. In those early centuries, Greek traders from the nearby Dorian colonies began to mingle with the Carians. They brought their gods, their art, and their architecture. Temples dedicated to Apollo and Artemis began to rise, blending Greek refinement with local style. The city became a cultural crossroads where Ionian philosophy met Persian splendor, and Carian traditions breathed through them both. And as night falls over the Aegean Sea, you can almost imagine walking through those quiet streets. Lanterns flicker along whitewashed walls. The scent of olive oil and incense drifts through the air. And beyond the hills, the royal palace glows softly under the moon, where a young ruler named Mausoleum dreams of eternity. This was the city before the wonder, a city poised between worlds, between East and West, between history and myth. Halicarnassus, the sleeping jewel of Caria, waiting for its moment to awaken. The moon still hangs over the waters of Halicarnassus, but now the city begins to stir. Ships come and go, bearing silks, marble, and spices. And at the heart of this awakening stands one man, Mausoleum, satrap of Caria, son of Halicarnassus, and ruler of a dream that would outlast empires. Born around 377 BCE, Mausoleum inherited not just his father's throne, but his complex world. A Caria caught between Persia's power and Greece's brilliance. The Persian Empire still ruled much of Anatolia, yet its satraps enjoyed remarkable autonomy. Mausoleum understood this balance perfectly. To his Persian overlords, he was a loyal servant, but to his people, he was something more, a king in all but name, a builder, and a visionary. History remembers him not for conquest, but for creation. Under his rule, Halicarnassus transformed from a regional port into a dazzling capital, the jewel of the Aegean coast. Archaeological excavations show evidence of vast urban planning from this era. New city walls that stretched over 7 kilometers, gates reinforced with massive stone blocks, and a harbor fortified with towers and quays for merchant fleets. The city was redesigned in the Greek Hippodamian grid pattern, with straight, orderly streets running toward the sea. This plan reflected Mausoleus's admiration for Greek ideals of harmony and beauty, yet the grandeur of his palace and fortifications echoed the might of Persia. His Halicarnassus was a living synthesis, a place where East and West were woven together in marble and myth. Mausoleum also expanded Caria's territory, strengthening its independence. Historical records, including inscriptions found near Mylasa and Labranda, speak of his campaigns into Lycia and parts of Ionia. Through diplomacy and occasional rebellion, he secured his region's wealth and identity, while still outwardly loyal to the great king Artaxerxes III. It was a dangerous dance, but Mausoleum played it masterfully. Coins from his reign show a remarkable duality. Some bear Persian imagery, others Greek deities. His capital was filled with statues of both traditions: Apollo beside Ahura Mazda, Ares beside Anahita. He envisioned Caria not as a province, but as a bridge where civilizations met and merged under his rule. Beneath his calm surface, Mausoleum was deeply ambitious. He commissioned theaters, temples, and a new royal palace atop the city's Acropolis. From there, one could gaze across the harbor to the islands beyond, the same waters that carried Greek poets, traders, and philosophers. Perhaps he knew that true power was not only in armies or gold, but in the immortality of creation. In his reign, Halicarnassus became known across the Aegean as a city of culture, architecture, and wealth. Under his rule, and under that of his successor, this has become known as a golden age. But even a visionary cannot outlast time. Around 353 BCE, Mausoleum fell ill. His death marked not an end, but the beginning of a legend. For the woman who succeeded him, his queen, his sister, and his most loyal companion, would ensure that his memory would never fade. Her name was Artemisia, and her love would shape one of the greatest wonders the ancient world had ever known. Night settles softly over Halicarnassus. The waves are calm now, glimmering beneath the stars. But within the marble halls of the palace, silence reigns, for the great satrap Mausoleum is dead. And beside his lifeless form stands Artemisia, his queen, his sister, and his soul's companion, a woman whose love would defy the boundary between life and death. Artemisia was not only the wife of Mausoleum, but also his partner in rule. Ancient sources describe her as intelligent, resolute, and deeply loyal. Like Mausoleum, she was both Carian and Greek, raised in a world that prized reason, yet revered the unseen. Together they had built a kingdom that balanced power with beauty. And when death took him, she vowed that his memory would endure beyond all mortal kings. Historical accounts of Artemisia's devotion survive in the writings of Strabo, Pliny the Elder, and Cicero. They tell us that she was overcome with grief so profound that she ordered her husband's body to be cremated, and that she mixed his ashes with wine and drank them, so that he might live within her forever. Whether fact or legend, this tale captured the imagination of the ancient world. To them, it was not merely love, it was the essence of devotion itself. But Artemisia's mourning was not only emotional, it was creative, visionary. She summoned the finest minds and artists of her time to construct a tomb unlike any other, a structure so magnificent that even the gods would gaze upon it in wonder. Around 353 BCE, under her direction, work began on what would later be known as the Mausoleum at Halicarnassus, the very monument that would immortalize her husband's name for all time. Archaeological evidence suggests that the mausoleum was built upon a hill overlooking the harbor, likely within sight of the royal palace. Here, Mausolus could rest eternally above the city he had shaped, facing the open sea, the symbol of Caria's wealth and the world beyond. Artemisia spared no cost. Marble was brought from distant quarries, craftsmen from across Greece and Ionia. Every column, every sculpture, every stone carried meaning, love rendered in architecture. According to later descriptions, she appointed two principal architects, Sotiros and Pythias of Priene, men known for their mastery of proportion and harmony. To adorn the tomb, she commissioned the most celebrated sculptors of the classical world, Scopas, Bryaxis, Timotheus, and Leocharis. Each was tasked with decorating a side of the structure, so that the entire monument became a living gallery of divine art. For 2 years, Artemisia oversaw this creation, yet her health, weakened by sorrow, began to fade. Pliny the Elder wrote that she did not live to see the mausoleum completed. Still, the artists, moved by her devotion, continued their work in her name. They believed that such love deserved eternity, that the very stones of Halicarnassus should tell her story long after their own names were forgotten. And so, beneath the soft sky of Caria, a wonder began to rise, a structure of marble and memory, of passion and perfection. Its foundations sank deep into the earth, while its spirit reached for the heavens. The mausoleum would stand not only as a tomb, but as a symbol that love, art, and empire could together defy the grasp of time. The dawn breaks softly over the hills of Halicarnassus. Marble gleams under the first rays of sunlight, and the sound of chisels begins again, steady, rhythmic, eternal. What was once an idea of grief is now becoming a masterpiece of stone and imagination. This is the making of the mausoleum. At the head of this grand endeavor were two brilliant minds, Sotiros and Pythias of Priene, architects of vision and symmetry. They were tasked by Queen Artemisia II to design a tomb unlike any before it, one that would blend the sacred beauty of Greek temples, the commanding presence of Persian palaces, and the eternal solemnity of Carian tradition. The result was an architectural miracle, a structure that would be remembered among the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Through ancient writings, especially those of Vitruvius and Pliny the Elder, we learn that the mausoleum stood on a high podium surrounded by a colonnade of Ionic columns, rising in elegant balance. Its base was rectangular, roughly 40 by 30 meters, while its height soared to nearly 45 meters, as tall as a modern 15-story building. From its foundations to its crowning sculpture, the mausoleum embodied harmony between earth and sky. Archaeologists who excavated the site in the 19th and 20th centuries, notably Sir Charles Thomas Newton of the British Museum, uncovered fragments of this ancient splendor. He found marble lions, friezes of warriors, and pieces of fluted columns that once supported the upper structure. Among the ruins lay broken stones, still bearing the marks of chisels, silent proof of human hands shaping immortality. Each side of the mausoleum was assigned to a master sculptor. To the north worked Bryaxis, known for his powerful, lifelike figures. To the south, Scopas, whose art captured deep emotion and movement. The same Scopas who helped design the Temple of Artemis at Ephesus. To the east, Timotheus, whose delicate detailing and serene expressions gave grace to marble. And to the west, Leocharis, whose sculptures glowed with ideal beauty and proportion. Together, they turned cold stone into poetry. Around the base, a continuous frieze circled the structure, scenes of battles between Greeks and Amazons, warriors frozen in motion. Fragments of these reliefs now rest in the British Museum, their marble surfaces still showing traces of ancient paint. The artistry speaks of a world that celebrated both the mortal and the divine, where beauty was a pathway to eternity. Above the colonnade rose a stepped pyramid roof, inspired by Eastern designs, each level slightly smaller than the one below. At its peak stood the final marvel, a quadriga, a sculpture of a four-horse chariot driven by Mausolus himself, his figure crowned with victory. It was this combination, Greek form, Persian grandeur, Carian soul, that made the mausoleum unlike any monument before or since. Even centuries later, visitors to Halicarnassus stood in awe. The historian Pausanias, writing in the 2nd century CE, said that the mausoleum was built to such perfection that its beauty defied time. And though earthquakes would later tear it down, its influence endured, from Roman tombs to Renaissance architecture, and even in our modern word for monumental graves, mausoleums. But beyond design and beauty, there was something deeper here, a quiet message carved into every stone, that art could outlive empire, that love could shape marble into memory, and that the human desire for remembrance could turn even death into wonder. As the workers pause at dusk, dust rising like golden mist in the fading light, the great structure gleams above Halicarnassus, a stairway of stone leading toward the stars.
Night descends over Halicarnassus once more. The stars shimmer faintly over marble columns, and the torches around the mausoleum flicker in the coastal wind. The construction is complete now, the masterpiece that Artemisia dreamed into being. But within its towering beauty, there lies something deeper, a dialogue between the mortal and the divine. The mausoleum was more than a tomb. It was a temple of memory, a bridge between the world of the living and the realm of the gods. Ancient writers like Vitruvius and Pliny suggest that its design carried symbolic meaning. The solid podium at the base represented the earth, the domain of mortals. The ring of Ionic columns symbolized order and civilization, the harmony of human reason. And the pyramid roof, rising step by step, led the soul upward toward the heavens. At its summit, the chariot of Mausoleum symbolized ascension, the ruler's spirit journeying skyward, drawn by 4 celestial horses. Archaeological findings confirm that the structure combined Greek architectural elegance with Eastern spiritual concepts. The Carians, like many Anatolian peoples, believed that the soul lingered near the body after death. Burial sites throughout Caria often include offerings of food, pottery, and small votive figurines, humble gifts to sustain the spirit on its passage. Inside the mausoleum, though much has been lost, fragments of decorated sarcophagi and bronze fittings hint at a richly adorned interior. Some archaeologists even found evidence of chambered vaults beneath the base, perhaps where Mausoleus's ashes were interred alongside Artemisia's. Imagine stepping quietly through its marble halls. The air is cool and faintly perfumed with myrrh. Lamps burn softly before carved altars. Priests and attendants move in silence, performing the ancient rites, washing the body, lighting incense, whispering hymns to Hades, Hermes Psychopompos, and Anubis, the guides of souls. Though Greek in form, Carian rituals would have blended with Persian customs of honoring the departed with sacred fire and libations of wine. At certain festivals, offerings might have been renewed, flowers placed before the base, small sacrifices made at the entrance. For the people of Halicarnassus, this was not merely the resting place of their ruler. It was the heart of their city, a symbol of divine protection and enduring identity. The mausoleum shone in white marble by day, and under the moon it glowed like silver, a constant reminder that beauty could conquer decay. Centuries later, travelers who came to the ruins would still feel its sanctity. Roman visitors described it as a house of the gods, so perfect in symmetry that it seemed untouched by time. Even after earthquakes toppled its columns and its roof collapsed, the foundation remained, solid, unmoved, as if guarding something eternal. In truth, what Artemisia created was not only a monument for her husband, but a vision of immortality itself. The mausoleum stood as a declaration that memory, shaped in stone and guided by faith, can overcome the silence of death. It became the soul of Halicarnassus, and for centuries, pilgrims came to gaze upon it with reverence, believing it to be touched by the divine. Now, as the night deepens and the Aegean wind sweeps gently through its ruins, the spirit of that place still whispers of a queen's love, a king's dream, and a civilization's search for eternity.
The centuries turn softly, like the pages of an ancient book. The mausoleum still stands, its white marble gleaming above the sea of Halicarnassus. But time, patient and unrelenting, begins its quiet work. For more than 1,600 years, the mausoleum endured, admired by travelers, recorded by scholars, and honored by poets. When the Romans came, they marveled at its perfection. Even as empires rose and fell around it, Greek, Persian, Roman, Byzantine, the mausoleum remained, a monument both silent and eternal. Yet no stone lasts forever. The first tremors came quietly. The earthquakes that rolled through Asia Minor between the 12th and 15th centuries CE began to shake the ancient structure. Columns fell, roof stones split, the sculpted friezes crashed to the ground, shattering after 1,000 years of standing. By the time medieval travelers passed through the region, the mausoleum was already a ruin, a memory fading beneath vines and dust. In the early 14th century, the Knights of St. John, a crusading order who had established themselves in Rhodes, arrived in Halicarnassus. They renamed the city Petronium, and upon its heights they began constructing a massive fortress, the Castle of St. Peter. For their building stones, they looked to the ruins nearby. The marble blocks of the mausoleum, long abandoned, gleamed perfectly in the sunlight, strong, smooth, and ready to be used again. Piece by piece, the wonder of the world was dismantled. Its columns and sculpted reliefs were carried down to the harbor, rolled onto ships, and built into the castle walls. If you visit Bodrum Castle today, you can still see them, fragments of the mausoleum embedded within medieval towers. Ancient Greek marble mingling with Crusader masonry. Some stones even bear faint carvings from Scopas and Leochares' hands, their artistry preserved in an entirely new age. By the 16th century, the mausoleum had vanished completely from sight. Its location was forgotten, its exact form remembered only in ancient texts. For 300 years it existed as a legend, a ghost among the seven wonders. Then, in 1856, the British archaeologist Sir Charles Thomas Newton arrived in Bodrum. Guided by the descriptions of Pliny and Vitruvius, he began to dig among the hills behind the modern town. His team uncovered the foundations of the great podium, fragments of sculpted horses, warriors, and columns, and even the steps of the pyramid roof. It was a rediscovery not just of a monument, but of an idea, proof that myth and history were one. Newton's discoveries were carefully transported to the British Museum, where they can still be seen today in the Halicarnassus Gallery. There, under gentle light, stand the colossal statues once believed to represent Mausoleum and Artemisia themselves, serene, regal, and strangely alive
after 2,000 years. Their marble eyes still gaze outward, as if searching for the sea they once overlooked. The earthquakes had shattered the stone. The Crusaders had stolen the marble. Time had buried the rest. But still, the mausoleum endured, not in structure, but in spirit. For even now, when archaeologists sift through its ruins, they find more than architecture. They find devotion, craftsmanship, and a reminder that what is made with love survives. The stones may crumble, but the idea remains. And so, beneath the Turkish sun, the ruins of Halicarnassus rest quietly. Grass grows among the fallen columns. Wind drifts softly through the broken walls. And in the stillness of night, you can almost imagine the faint echo of hammers, the whisper of prayers, and the shining outline of the wonder that once was. Time, as always, does not destroy, it transforms. When the last stones of the mausoleum fell to dust, something invisible rose in their place, an idea. An idea that beauty could preserve memory, that love could be carved into marble, and that death, when honored with devotion, could become timeless. From the ruins of Halicarnassus, this idea spread quietly through the ancient world. Greek architects, who once studied the mausoleum's perfect proportions, carried its design into their own cities. In Asia Minor, Lycian tombs began to echo its stepped podiums. In Sardis, Ephesus, and Pergamon, stone carvers borrowed its relief style, long flowing friezes filled with riders and mythic beasts. Even the Romans, masters of concrete and empire, looked back to the mausoleum as a model of power and eternity. When Rome became the heart of the world, its emperors sought monuments to rival Halicarnassus. The tomb of Augustus, the Hadrian's mausoleum, now the Castel Sant'Angelo, all bore traces of that same vision. A fusion of Greek grace and Near Eastern grandeur, crowned by sculpture, encircled by stories carved in stone. To the Romans, the word mausoleum became more than a name. It became a concept, a monument not merely to a person, but to the endurance of memory itself. As centuries passed, that word endured. From medieval cathedrals to Renaissance chapels, builders rediscovered the symmetry, balance, and sacred geometry that had once defined the wonder by the sea. The 15th century Medici chapels in Florence, serene and eternal, echo the same proportions that once stood in Halicarnassus. Architects, knowingly or not, continued to recreate the rhythm of that lost tomb. A square base, rising columns, crowned dome or pyramid, the eternal dialogue between earth and heaven. Far beyond the Mediterranean,
the legacy took new forms. In India, Persia, and the Islamic world, the idea of a tomb as art found even grander expression. Centuries later, the Taj Mahal, built by Shah Jahan for his beloved Mumtaz, would embody the same truth that Artemisia once knew, that love and loss could find immortality in stone. White marble, perfect symmetry, and a devotion to beauty, all echoes of Halicarnassus, reborn beneath another sky. In the modern world, the word mausoleum lives everywhere. From Napoleon's tomb in Paris to Lenin's mausoleum in Moscow, the same ideal continues to grant the departed a monument that speaks not of death, but of permanence. Even in quiet cemeteries and memorial gardens, the very concept of a stone chamber, a sacred space for memory, owes its ancestry to that ancient Carian wonder. But the truest legacy of the mausoleum is not in architecture. It is in the way we remember. For the story of Halicarnassus is a reminder that love can transcend decay, that beauty can bridge mortality, and that remembrance itself is a form of eternity. Today, when the moon rises over Bodrum, its silver light touches both the medieval stones of St. Peter's Castle and the buried ruins below. Two monuments, one of conquest, one of love, standing together in the night. And somewhere between them, the spirit of Mausolus and Artemisia endures, still whispering that what we build for love will always outlast what we build for power. The story of the mausoleum begins with a man and a woman, a ruler who sought to shape his world in marble, and a queen whose love outlasted death itself. It ends not with ruins, but with remembrance. Long after the walls have crumbled and the statues have fallen, the spirit of the mausoleum still drifts across the centuries. It whispers to us through every great monument built since, every column that reaches for the sky, every hand that carves beauty out of grief, every lover who refuses to let memory fade. When Artemisia first stood upon the hill of Halicarnassus, she did not build for empire, she built for love. The stones she raised were not just to honor a king, but to speak across time, to say he lived, he was loved, and he will not be forgotten. That is the true wonder, not the marble, nor the height, nor the craftsmanship, but the meaning behind it. It was not merely a tomb, it was a promise that love, when made sacred, can stand against the silence of eternity. Even as the centuries carried away its glory, even as earthquakes shattered its walls, even as crusaders carved its stones into castles, its essence endured. For every block, every sculpture, every echo of design that survives today still holds that same unbroken vow that beauty and remembrance are one. Archaeologists now walk where Mausoleum and Artemisia once stood. The ruins are quiet. Fragments of columns, pieces of friezes, a foundation open to the sky. The sea breeze moves gently through the grass. Sometimes, when the light is right, the white marble still glows, a ghost of the past, returning for a moment to remind us that nothing built in love is ever truly lost. Tourists wander there now, unaware that beneath their feet lie the dreams of two souls who reached for eternity. In museums far away, the statues of Mausoleum and Artemisia stand beneath soft light, their faces calm, their eyes eternal. Two figures from an age long gone, yet still together, still remembered. The mausoleum at Halicarnassus was one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, but its truest wonder was never its size or its grandeur. It was the tenderness it carried across time. It was the lesson it left for all who would follow, that memory is not made of stone, but of love, and love never dies. So, as we close this journey, imagine the gentle sound of waves brushing against the shore of ancient Caria. The silver light reflects upon the water, the same silver light that once touched the marble walls of the mausoleum. The air is still, filled with history, filled with peace. The wonder is gone, but its story remains, eternal, silent, and serene. And perhaps in that endless stillness, Mausoleum and Artemisia rest together at last, forever surrounded by the dream they built, a dream carved not from stone, but of love itself.